Welcome, 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 and thank you for joining us on another episode of today's Electrical Estimating. I'm your co-host, Chris Traumer, and as always, joined by my other co-host, Sal Huerta.
Welcome, everyone.
So, Sal, we got another two-parter today. Same pretty much topic, just two seasoned industry professionals that are going to give us some insights into what they're looking for when hiring estimators and how they get these new team members onboarded with their current team that they have. So I think great insights for any owner operators or managers that are in the market for new estimators. They really do provide us some insight, and it's great to hear. I mean, I worked at a recruiting firm for a while. You know, you get information from companies when you're trying to help them out, trying to find them applicants. Sometimes it's a little vague. These guys did a great job of giving us this insight in particular traits, particular skill sets, things that were sort of outside the box, perhaps, that somebody wouldn't ask. So I think it's some real valuable information that people can glean from it. You know, what are your thoughts on that?
No, I agree 100%. When you put in the time to be an electrician and you're out in the field, sometimes you wonder what's next. And, these guys, really outlined that, your skill set, the things that you've studied for and trained for and actually worked and did in the field can translate now to being an estimator, if that's the next level step that you're willing to do. So, like you said, both these guys brought some really good insight into this.
With that being said, I feel like we should just jump into this, let these guys, in their own words, give everybody their insights, and we'll go from there. I guess one of the questions I had for you, and I'm curious about, are there any essential qualities or traits that you notice make up a good estimator, like a solid estimator who could have a long career? Is it they're good at mathematics, or, they're very detail oriented? Is there anything particular that, maybe people should be looking out for if they're looking to hire estimators?
Being an electrician gives you the foundation to go ahead and estimate. Without it, it's very difficult. So, number one, experience as an electrician. Number two, you have to have a good imagination. You have to have patience. And it helps if you can add two and two. Right? Those are the first things I think of.
Got it. So when you say good imagination, is it just being creative with what's provided to you, or sort of what's in front of you when you're looking at different?
It's basically turning a drawing, which is a flat one thing, into a thing that's 3D.
Oh,
you have to do that to understand going up and down and all the things that happened as you go about an estimate.
So sort of taking the one dimension that you're looking at sometimes on a
yes, on a flat drawing.
Exactly. Being able to picture it yourself. And that's where that experience as electrician comes into play, because you've actually probably been in some projects that look similar to that or been in that area. So it allows you to sort of visualize what you're looking at and what you're doing.
Exactly. Well put.
And we've heard it from other people in the past as well. Being an electrician, they said they would never hire an estimator that's never been in the field or never had that skill set. And it seems like you're agreeing with that it's,
oh, absolutely,
that the guy has to have that hands-on experience.
You can tell right away if a guy's never had the experience because he just doesn't have a full deck to play with.
And it's not really, I mean, it makes sense because then you're not really getting the insight. You don't know how certain products work or how certain things should be done, or what the guys are going to be doing out there to figure out labor and things of that nature. Is that along the lines that you're thinking on that?
And companies in general sometimes don't want to pay an estimator what it's worth. And that's why they won't take people from the field sometimes, because it's going to cost them more. And that's a foolish cost savings. You need that experience.
I'm a guy that's out there looking for an estimator. Make sure I'm pulling from the field, preferably from what we heard from another contractor out there, with somebody that's actually worked with them, so they understand their crews and their guys and their skills, the jobs they go after, so that they have a firm understanding of that for the labor side. sort of an imagination or creativity to be able to picture things on the fly. And as you said, some patience to sit down and be able to look through all those details.
Absolutely. Field experience, you're able to see the item you're getting ready to install. And one thing good about net pricer is you can go in and look at the item and see what it looks like. It's a shame you can't pick it up and see how heavy it is, but there's a raft of information. I'm not blowing smoke, Sal. It's the truth. Being able to look at your site and see the items is a big help.
And that plays into bringing somebody on sort of that's also an electrician, because those guys
Yeah, yeah.
have had hands on to
Well,
those products. They haven't in their new products, then they have the catalogs and net pricer to get 3D
yeah,
pictures, graphics on it to
absolutely.
understand.
I did have one experience where a young lady that worked for my company, and back in those days, I worked for HP Foley, was one of the biggest in the world at the time. She was a secretary and she wanted to be an estimator. And I was somewhat nervous about that. But by God, she ended up learning it all and became an excellent project manager and made the company a lot of money. So you can start with nothing and build up, but it takes time. And I got tired of saying, Julie, just forget about it and take it off, count it. You don't need to know what it is right now. But of course you do, and she would look it up and figure it out. So that's a rare exception, but she was a good one.
And so there's those rare opportunities that if you aren't in the field or coming up from there, you do have the chance, but it's going to be a lot more work and study and
Well,
understand to get there.
you have to have somebody patient to instruct them, and I guess I was patient. But anyhow, be that as it may, it can happen. It's just not the norm.
For me, let's say I did 10 jobs and I know I'm only going to get one or two of them. So I've got to bid a lot of jobs to keep my guys working. It helps if you have an assistant, a junior estimator, so he could be adding or inputting all these items in your software program. And then you, as senior estimator, go behind them and you look at their job because you could see every assembly that they did. And then you could check, make sure they didn't make mistakes. And then you could cover a lot more ground. I definitely encourage them to, at some point, get other estimators, junior estimators.
Junior estimator sort of starts the process with you, your takeoffs, things of that nature, getting your assemblies put on there, getting it to
Yeah.
a point to where you can then come pick up the ball and push it over the finish line, and then look at labor costs, product costs, all of that, and do that final put together of the project at that time.
Yeah, you've got to be a good estimator before you get junior estimators. Let me say that. Or you probably start off for a while being a junior estimator. And your senior estimator, his real job is to help you along, to teach you how to properly take off jobs. That way, one day you will be a senior estimator.
So somebody that's just getting in there, say a junior estimator, if you're putting all your stock into this guy being your only estimator, the outcome could be a little troublesome down the line without the proper training and insights from somebody more senior that's actually done this and has the nuances and sort of trade secrets that they would have to learn the hard way to get to.
Yeah, that's true. They are trade secrets because my competition, I don't tell them what I do, you know. So you have to trust this guy that you're trying to bring along. And for me, I can I can have two or three estimators and two or three computers working on the same job at the same time. And so the senior estimator would actually set up the job, load the blueprints onto it, whatnot, get it all set up. So the junior estimator just signs in under his name and you give him rights to. This guy is pretty new. I'm only going to let him do such and such. This guy's more, I'm going to allow him to do more and what they
Gotcha.
could see. When I did a complicated job, I do all the harder things, the difficult takeout parts, and let them do things like counting up lights, receptacles, so on. It's a learning
Now,
process.
with those junior estimators, are you looking at guys that have already been working for you out in the field that you're looking at taking from the field into the office that have that experience of working on the job site, so they know a little bit of something. They have that to know when they sit down, hey, this is what it is.
Absolutely. Any junior estimators I've ever had, they were at some point in the field so that they know what this assembly includes. They know what, when they're taking items off, they know all the parts of it.
Mhm.
Otherwise, if you don't have any time in the field, I don't know how a guy's going to be able to do that.
Step one for any future estimators is be in the field. It's not something
At
where you're
least
coming out of school and jumping behind a desk without learning a lot of hard lessons. I'm taking from that.
that's what I say. They're going to be a lot more confident if they've actually laid their hands on these things.
Mm-hmm.
Just it's just a symbol on a blueprint. Yeah, in the end, it's the senior estimator's job and responsibility to overlook everything his junior estimators do. And the
Mm-hmm.
reason you have junior estimators is really so you could bid more jobs.
Yep.
Because if you
Take some
have to
time.
do all the stuff yourself, you're not going to be able to bid as many jobs. You may do it
Yep.
perfectly,
Yeah.
but instead of bidding one job this week, you might bid five. You know,
Mm-hmm.
that's the reason to have junior estimators. One, to help you do more jobs at amount of time, and two, because junior estimators will eventually become senior estimators, and you're a teacher when you're doing that. You're not just their boss. You're a teacher.
Mm-hmm.
You want them to get better and better and better. It's only going to help you and your company.